Canola School on RealAgriculture.com is brought to you by Alberta Canola Producers Commission, Sask Canola, and Manitoba Canola Growers.
All right, we're joined by Angela Brackenreed, agronomy specialist with the Canola Council of Canada. And Angela, it's swathing time, getting to canola harvest time in parts of Western Canada. Maybe take us through some of the things that growers should be looking for in their fields at this time of year.
Yeah, absolutely. It's kind of hard to believe we're at this time of year already, but it's upon us, so definitely some things to be thinking about. First off, I think it's a good time to be out in the field and doing some pre-harvest or pre-swathing scouting. This time of year is when you really see things showing up quite obviously, particularly with diseases like sclerotinia, blackleg, and clubroot. So get out in the field and actually determine which one of those potential diseases it is if you're seeing some prematurely ripened plants.
And that premature ripening, that would be the most visible symptom of something there?
Yeah, from the road, for those three diseases, you're going to see an obvious difference in maturity as they're just not able to access moisture and nutrients.
How about after swathing? That's also a good time to look for things that have been happening during the year?
Yeah, that's an option as well, and as most people know who have walked through a potted canola field, it might be a little easier on you to go in after swathing. What I would recommend though is don't wait too long, as the stalks are going to decay and it'll be hard to tell what diseases are there. And there's certain diseases like blackleg saprophytic, so it might give you a bit of a false impression of how severe it was if you leave it too long out in the field.
So maybe take us through that process of what a grower should do when they're in the field.
Yeah, so obviously you want to go into representative areas of the field and pull some plants. Now with the risk of clubroot, I'd really recommend using a trowel and actually dig it up, because some of those galls, if you're getting later in the season, if you have clubroot galls, can slough off as we get later into the season. So use your trowel, dig it up. That gives you a chance to see the root health, see if you have any root maggot tunneling or root maggot pupae that are there. And then use your handy clippers. You can get these really at any garden center, and take a cross section of the stem. And this is to look for blackleg and the severity of blackleg. So with blackleg, if there is infection there, basal stem infection, you'll see just some blackening across that cross section. And we have a rating scale that we use from 0 to 5, just that would indicate the severity of it and can give you an indication of how much yield there's potentially being taken from that infection.
And that's for consideration for next spring?
Yeah, so obviously with all of these diseases, there's nothing that we can do about it at this point, but it is so important for management decisions for not only next year, but really for your rotational decisions for upcoming years.
How about from an insect perspective, are there any, when a grower's out checking at this time of year, I know it's too late again to do much, but anything that should be on the radar?
You know, Calvin, I think we've been pretty lucky this year. There was quite a few tough things thrown at us, particularly on the western side of the province, and I think it was a blessing that we didn't have to also deal with severe insect issues. But one thing that I have been getting some calls about as farmers are doing their pre-harvest scouting is high levels of late season flea beetles. And it can be alarming. They tend to attack any immature plants or any vegetative material that's there. So if you have aster yellow infection, for instance, that you might see flea beetles really congregating on those plants. But like I said, can look severe, be a little bit alarming, but really doubtful that would be economical this late in the season. And would just like to remind producers of pre-harvest intervals for those insecticides or any pesticide for that matter. Pre-harvest interval is the time that needs to elapse between the spraying of a pesticide and the cutting of the crop. So for most people that would mean swathing. And the reason I bring that up with relation to these flea beetle inquiries I've been getting is for a lot of folks who are getting close to swath timing, even if they did think they needed to spray those flea beetles, there's a good chance that they would not be able to adhere by those pre-harvest intervals.